Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the dark and twisted world of medieval torture devices. From fiery bulls to spiked coffins, we're counting down the top 5 weirdest medieval torture devices you won't believe existed. Get ready to have your minds blown, because some of these contraptions are straight out of a horror movie. First up, we have the Brazen Bull. Picture this, a hollow brass bull big enough to fit a person inside. Victims would be locked inside this metal beast, and then things got hot. Literally, a fire would be lit beneath the bull, heating the metal until it was scorching. The poor soul trapped inside would be roasted alive. The bull was designed with a special acoustic system. The screams of the victim would travel through tubes in the bull's nostrils, making it sound like the bull itself was bellowing in pain. It's believed that the Brazen Bull was invented around the 6th century BC by a Greek sculptor named Perilos. Phalaris, a Sicilian tyrant, was so impressed with the bull that he decided to test it out on Perilos himself. Next up is another iconic torture device, the Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden was a coffin-shaped iron cabinet, often with a creepy-looking face on the front. The interior was lined with sharp spikes, strategically placed to pierce the victim's body when the doors were closed. The spikes weren't designed to kill the victim immediately, but to inflict maximum pain and prolong the suffering. The victim would be trapped inside, slowly bleeding to death while the spikes dug deeper into their flesh. The Iron Maiden first appeared in Europe in the 16th century, during a time when religious persecution was rampant. It was a popular choice for torturing heretics and other enemies of the church. Despite its name, there's no historical evidence to suggest that the Iron Maiden was ever used on a woman. Let's talk about the rack, shall we? This medieval torture device is about as straightforward as it gets. It's basically a large wooden frame with rollers at each end, used to stretch people. The victim would be tied to the rack with their ankles secured to one roller and their wrists to the other. Then the torturer would slowly turn the handles, stretching the victim's body until their joints were dislocated. To make things even more excruciating, torturers would sometimes add weights to the victim's body or use iron pincers to tear at their flesh. The rack was used for centuries to extract confessions, punish criminals, and even settle religious disputes. It was still being used in some parts of Europe as late as the 19th century. Don't let the name fool you. This next device is anything but sweet. The pear of anguish, also known as the choke pear, might sound like something out of a fruit basket, but trust me, you wouldn't want to find this pear in your stocking. This pear-shaped instrument was designed for one purpose: to inflict unimaginable pain on its victims. It was made of metal and consisted of 4 segments that could be spread apart by turning a screw at the top. The pear of anguish was inserted into the victim's orifice of choice, usually the mouth, rectum, or vagina. Once in place, the torturer would slowly turn the screw, causing the pear-shaped segments to expand. The expanding pear would cause severe internal damage, tearing flesh and shattering bones. The pear of anguish was used primarily on women and heretics, often as a form of punishment for crimes related to sexuality. Last but not least, we have the breaking wheel, also known as the Catherine wheel. This brutal contraption was basically a giant wagon wheel with spokes. The victim was tied to the wheel, either spread-eagled or with their limbs woven through the spokes. The torturer would use a heavy iron hammer or club to systematically break the victim's bones, starting with their legs and working their way up. Sometimes the victim would be left on the wheel to die from exposure or infection. Other times they would be put on public display, their broken bodies left to rot as a warning to others. The breaking wheel was used throughout Europe for centuries, a popular form of capital punishment for a wide range of crimes. Well, there you have it, folks. The top 5 weirdest medieval torture devices you won't believe existed. Hopefully you didn't lose your lunch watching this one. If you made it this far, you deserve a medal for bravery. Seriously though, it's mind-blowing to think about the horrors that humans have inflicted upon one another throughout history. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating and chilling content. See you next time. Next.